Kailabreece.
Political corruption seems like a common theme throughout the world, and judging by our history books, no generation has been able to rise above it. Political corruption is the use of governmental powers by government officials for illegitimate private gain. All forms of government are susceptible to political corruption. Forms of corruption vary, but they include things like bribery, extortion, cronyism, nepotism, patronage, graft, embezzlement. While corruption may facilitate criminal enterprises, such as drug trafficking, money laundering, and even human trafficking, it is not restricted to these types of activities. And in some nations, corruption is so common that it is expected when ordinary businesses or citizens interact with government officials. The endpoint of political corruption is a kleptocracy, literally rule by thieves. A kleptocracy is a term applied to a government that extends the personal wealth and political power of government officials and the ruling class at the expense of the subservient and thusly ignorant population. Examples of such kleptocrats are former Indonesian President Suharto, former Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos, former Haitian President Jean-Claude Duvalier, and former Ukrainian Prime Minister Pavlo Lazarenko. The reason I bring up political corruption is because I worry about its connection with the concept of partisanship. When someone plays partisan politics, they broadcast strong support for one person, one group, one idea, one cause. These types of political games were once determined by simply observing voter turnout, but now they appear to be more deeply rooted within a psychological identification or party affiliation. What happens next is we begin to witness deals being made for no other reason than party or individual gain. This kind of behavior is typically seen as acceptable or in many cases preferential. However, many of the results are by definition political corruption. Political parties are funded by contributions from their membership and by individuals and organizations which share their political ideas or who stand to benefit from their activities. Political parties and organizations, especially those in government, are lobbied forcefully by businesses and special interest groups with specific one-dimensional partisan goals. Partisanship and corruption are either best friends or just happen to be at the same place at the same time very often. My question to my fellow intellectuals is this: is political corruption just simply part of the process, or is it an ungainly attempt at ideological partisan warfare? Is corruption the result of partisan politics, or are partisan politics the result of political corruption? Or neither? I know my vision of leadership without partisan politics and without corruption is almost as silly as my dream to play in the NBA, but I can't help but verbally declare my aspirations. Whether one sees the world through a conservative framework or a progressive framework, partisan behavior is married to corruption. Do you think our representative leaders are truly the best for the job? Or are they products of nepotism, cronyism, and hollow name recognition? Are our leaders honest with our tax revenue? Or are they spending it today with big promises without any worry of tomorrow? Do our wise leaders compose policy to better our future and protect our world? Or are they drafting policy in favor of the very corporations or interest groups that simply fund their campaigns? I can't claim to know all of this, but I am sure most of you would agree with the statement that politicians have a reputation for being stupid, dishonest, and above all, self-serving. I hope in time this changes, but as a global society, we must change the voting public, our values first. We are at fault for electing such incompetent and immoral figureheads. I think political partisanship is the seed behind political corruption. Partisanship does not value what is necessarily right, but instead what is right for the party. That is not right. American science fiction writer Dave Brim noted, "Many think power corrupts, but in truth, power attracts the corruptible." This is Kailabreece. What do you know?